What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bitcast number 84. I got Dan, the Santa Claus, Rodriguez, and Bert, the pencil signs. No, it's not what you think. Don't make assumptions. All right, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards, state of play, a whole bunch of updates for games, and then PlayStation 5 has made the news this week with a interesting rumor. But we're going to go through all the Game Awards categories and make our predictions kind of against each other, and then we'll revisit it next week after the show, and we'll see who has been the most accurate. But Dan's saying himself already. He thinks he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's go ahead and talk about Resident Evil, guys. So we mentioned this the other last Bitcast, but this week, this leaked on both PSN and now on a UK retailer, so it definitely looks like this is coming and coming soon. So Resident Evil 3 Remake. And Jeff Keighley said this is not going to be shown at the Game Awards, and so the rumor is that this is going to be shown on State of Play, which is happening this week as well. So Bert, this is your alley. Anything to add on Resident Evil 3 Remake that we haven't already talked about?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, I think it's going to be the same, similar maybe engine, graphics look, obviously with new characters and a new design, but it's probably going to be looking like Resident Evil 2. I think that, like you said before, the rumor is going to be State of Play. Obviously, I think it's going to be cross-gen once again. Not cross-gen, cross-platform. So I hope to see it on Xbox. Obviously, we're probably not going to see it on Switch, but on PC as well. So if it is real, if it is coming, fantastic. At the same time, I do want to hear more about the actual mainline Resident Evil 9, 10, wherever we're at these days, as to what that is, if it's coming soon, if it's going to be next generation. What are we looking at from it? So these remakes are fantastic. I even have Resident Evil 2 Remake as some of my favorite game of 2019. But I do want to actually see what it looks like. I think the art, from what I've seen from it, Nemesis looks kind of goofy looking and maybe even a little different than the original models were looking like. But he does look fantastic still. So 3 is not my favorite, as we've talked about before. But I do want to see it, and I look forward to playing it very much.
Yeah, I'm not going to play Resident Evil because it's going to crack my day again.
You got nothing to add.
No, nothing to add to this one, but, cool for Resident Evil fans. I know, like Resident Evil 2 is on the top of a lot of people's list, Bert included this year, so it's great that, they're doing this, but, to Bert's point about, getting to see the next iteration of Resident Evil, I think a lot more fans would like to see that, and...
I'd rather see that, honestly.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just getting tired of the remakes and the remasters, Just do something new, man.
And they did good with Resident Evil 7. Like, that was a nice reboot of the franchise, in my opinion. I love that game. So, all right. So, speaking of State of Play, we've got all the dates and times for you, by the way, this week of when things are releasing. So, State of Play is happening Tuesday, maybe as you're listening to this, really early in the morning for us here in America. So, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. British Standard Time. So, the rumors right now that we know of are this: Resident Evil 3 Remake will show up there. The new Crash rumor we talked about last week, Crash Bandicoot Worlds, is supposedly going to show up at State of Play. And then, it's been talked, of course, that Ghost of Tsushima may make an appearance, the first appearance that we've seen in, a year and a half since last E3, last year's E3. So this is cool. They said about 20 minutes of games and announcements, so this kind of will kick our week off in a fun way. We're seeing some new stuff from Sony.
Yeah, man. New Crash, okay. I really want to see some new Ghosts because we really haven't seen anything.
No, I want to see some gameplay.
Yeah, I really do too. See what it's like. Just something, that they're still working on it at this point. As far as anything else I'd like to see, maybe a new VR game that kind of in the vein of a Blood and Truth. Because that's the kind of VR game I want. While that game isn't quite like AAA. It's going towards that direction, and I'd like to see something like that.
I heard a few other people talking this week about Blood and Truth and how it was such a good and fun kind of story and should be where VR is kind of heading, I think, to that point.
No, 100%. Short of that, just, maybe they'll throw in a little bit of The Last of Us 2 or, you never know. Oof. Just a little bit. Just a little taste. A little taste. Get us ready for next year.
Yeah, one of my New Year's resolutions, and this is a little preview for you guys, is to take the wet blanket. Is to take the wet blanket off. So, I've been trying to stay a lot more positive about stuff, even though Rumor Central kind of bugs the living crap out of me because everybody gets excited about these rumors, and then you come out and find that nothing of it was true in any way whatsoever. So, I don't know. I do want to stay positive about Sony. It's been kind of a rough year from a communication standpoint. No E3, no massively exclusives that are immediate game of the year for most people or anything like that. No PSX. And to Dan's point, VR has gone kind of dormant for a lot of people from a communication standpoint. They started coming out of the gate really strong in 2019 with VR and some fun games for VR, and then it's just gone quiet. No one's heard anything. So yeah, I'd like to see something more from VR. For me, it's turned into more of like a fun thing to do when friends are over. I haven't really found myself pulling the VR out, setting it up, and then sitting there for extended amount of hours and just playing VR. So I need something to pull me back into it. I loved Astrobot. Beat Saber is one of my favorite games, I think, from a social standpoint of all time. It's just that much fun to have people over and play it. But, I want to see something new. I want to see something cool. If it's just another cruise control state of play where it's just, hey, this is going on, even repeating trailers that we've seen in the past few weeks, then it's just going to be kind of a yawn fest. Okay, cool. I'm expecting it to be somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes as usual. So at least it's quick and not multiple hours where we're kind of, falling asleep watching it. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's good. It's, Christmas right around the corner. They've got to have something fun to keep people interested throughout the rest of the year.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring. I don't know, Dan, if you heard this rumor. There's a rumor that Bert's going to take off the wet blanket next year.
I heard about that, but I really don't subscribe to the rumor mill.
No, rumor mill's no good here.
Yeah, it's not great. Then you get disappointed, and then things just go awry.
I think it's a cautious rumor. Cautious rumor, not really. Don't stick to it.
Somewhat credible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so two of the biggest games from Platinum Games are coming back. So this leaked this week too, and that Bayonetta, the original, and Vanquish remasters were leaked. This is a bundle collection that's going to be coming to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, apparently, even though it was leaked off of the Microsoft Store. The presumption is it's coming to PS4 as well. And this is supposedly coming in mid-February of 2020. And they said that in the Microsoft Store, it did say that it'll run at 4K 60 on the Xbox One X, which is cool. Just yesterday, as we're filming this, the trailer leaked as well and could be found on YouTube for this. So, pretty interesting here. I actually, for shame or for any other reason, I haven't played either of these games. I think I touched Bayonetta for like a few minutes. And I know people adore that game. Vanquish is also one of those games that seems to be kind of have a cult following, like a really beloved following for some people. So this is pretty good news. I will say we were talking about this, guys, and it looks like it's going to run about 13 gigs for both games. So what that tells us is this is not a full remaster like RE2, where they're doing new textures or anything like that. This is probably more of an up-res, up frame rate, and just kind of polished up a little bit. But you guys interested in this?
Yeah, so I think where you're going on it is a remaster versus like remake from the games, and so I've played Bayonetta twice already after the original one. I'm not sure if I'm up for a third time to replay the game, but I am up for a second time of playing Vanquish. I really enjoyed Vanquish. It is a lot of fun for people that never gave it a chance. This is your chance to give it a lot of, just gameplay and stuff in there. It's just so good, and it's fun, and it is very Japanese. I will say that, so you will get the very Japanese feel out of it. But it's something that I think everybody should play. And
you had me until that.
Yeah, I mean it's
the Japanese feel. Oof.
Yeah, so think of the guy like in a little mech suit. You can run really fast. There's the sliding mechanic where you slide.
It's by Sega, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I think it was published by Sega. I don't know if it was developed by them.
Oh, no, it's made by Platinum. Well, I just said that.
Yeah, it's published.
Kind of hard.
A positive there, Dan, is there's multiple difficulty settings. So yeah, there is, and this is one of the games that actually changed quite a bit depending on difficulty. It wasn't just the enemies take more hits. They become a lot more aggressive. It's a lot of fun. You upgrade your suit as you go. The boss battles are super fun. So if you like those, I do think this is one of the games that I wish got a sequel, and a legit sequel this generation, and it just never did. So hopefully people can check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Well, released in October 2010, so coming up on a decade.
Wow. And I've played both of these. I love Bayonetta, but I didn't give Vanquish, I think, a fair shot. I think I'd be up for, another playthrough.
You've probably already bought it, so.
That might be true. I'm not confirming nor denying that rumor.
I think it is back compat too, Dan.
But I have both these games already. So I mean, it'd be nice if I could just pay $5 and get my extra however many.
That's not gonna happen.
No, this is crazy. But I'll buy it because I'm stupid. And it's right there where I can probably get through both of those games. Before anything really major comes out. Around February 18th. Until then, we already did on.
Well, what's moved to February was Doom.
Yeah, but that's a game. I love Doom.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but you can play through that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Single player anyway.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right, so not a whole lot in the news this week, but there are a ton of updates coming for major titles prior to the holidays, and this is probably kind of closing out development for these studios for the year and giving fans, something to play into the new year, which is really cool. So just going to walk through some of these, give you the release dates and what's happening with them before we get to the other stuff. So if you're a big fan of GTA Online, we know you guys are out there because the game is just ridiculous and how many people play it. The biggest heist they've ever done is coming on December 13th, called the Diamond Casino Heist. And this is supposedly, one of the biggest co-op adventures that you'll be able to play with your friends in GTA Online. Then for Red Dead Online, which I'm sure we'll talk more about here a little later, the Moonshiners expansion is coming December 12th.
It's actually the same day.
Oh, the 13th as well? It said 12th on the damn announcement thing. But okay, no worries.
That one says 13th.
Okay, so it's coming on the 12th at midnight to the 13th.
Lots of Rockstar days. That's the day before my birthday.
Nice.
The Friday. I know what I'll be doing.
There you go. And so this is adding another class to Red Dead Online. So you have the Bounty Hunter, the Trader, the Collector, and now you'll have the Moonshiner. FYI, if you do play the game, it says you had to be Trader level 5 to start this whole adventure into moonshining. Mm-hmm. And then Gears 5, big update, the biggest one yet. Operation 2 is coming, which is going to add maps, characters, a free-for-all mode, 2v2 mode, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's coming December 11th currently, according to the Coalition. And then Battlefield 5, so the war in the Pacific we've talked about before. They've kind of got that going right now in Wake Island, one of the most kind of well-known, well-respected maps in Battlefield history. Is coming back next week on the 12th as well. So just in a span of 3 days, you're getting 4 updates from major titles. And then I'm sure we'll talk about it next week. But the following week, Borderlands 3 gets its first expansion as well, just before the holidays. So a lot of good stuff to play for, ongoing games, which we talk about frequently. And anything out of this, guys, that you're looking forward to?
You see, this is the best thing because, not only these things are all free, right? They're all coming with.
Gears is, Battlefield is.
I mean, if you have online, it just comes. Yeah, it comes with it.
Yeah, Red Dead. Well, if you want to be the Moonshiner, you may have to do the.
You may have to buy if you have
missions.
enough gold.
Yeah.
So, pretty much free.
Yes.
In a time that we don't have a lot of games coming out, so this is a perfect time to come in and revisit those games. I've been on Red Dead Online for pretty much 2 weeks solid now.
And you goddamn got me into it.
Now he's stuck into it. We're trying to get Bert into it. If we can get the wet poncho off of him. But we'll see how that goes. I'm all about the Moonshiners.
Yeah.
I'm all about changing my character to look like Tickle from the TV show. Some of you guys will get that, maybe not.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Some pretty bad teeth. But other than that, look it up. Google it. You won't be disappointed. I'll be selling my moonshine. I'm going to call it the signs because it'll get you messed up. And come join us, man, because that's all I'm going to be doing. I think for the next month, I have nothing else planned.
Yeah. Anyone out there playing Red Dead Online? We got a posse. Welcome to come.
Posse.
Chaos. Actually, we don't create chaos. We're actually very friendly in our posse.
We're
but
very, very nice.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. For sure.
So, Bert, Red Dead Online, huh?
Okay. If you guys get me into that and I start neglecting other games, I'll never talk to y'all again. So
you don't need other games.
Yeah, this is true.
It's like
so much I'm in the middle of. So much I need to play right now. But yes, I will give it a try. So, yep.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's probably a humongous mistake.
Anything else in here you're interested in, Bert? Or
No, I mean,
I know you said you're trying to catch up on other games.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on single-player games. One of the good things about this stuff is that it is for multiplayer stuff. So if we give this stuff a try on multiplayer, I am up for giving it a try. So I'm excited for it. And this is one of the things. So it's funny. I was trying to get into Assassin's Creed Odyssey DLC, which is single-player stuff. Launched it, and I was like, what the hell is going on with these menus? How do you play this game? I don't know how to do anything. Which is tough for me because there's so much DLC that I wanted to do. So when it comes to multiplayer DLC, which is stuff that you can easily just jump into and it's a new map or new weapons or new missions and stuff, that's fantastic. But when you have to play a game that you haven't played like in 9 months or something and you spent so much time playing, it's a little hard for me to jump into. So if this is easy to get into, I will give it a try. It's good to see this stuff happening in the holidays where we have a little bit more time off than we do during the normal time of the year. So cool to see.
That's what scares me of Red Dead. I'm going to have more time to play.
Exactly.
I get sucked in. But speaking of what Bert was talking about, I was all kinds of a mess when I first started playing Red Dead again. The menus and stuff take a while to get back used to.
Yep.
Shot my horse the other day. It's awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we've got, before we get to Game Awards, we've got one thing that was discussed this week. It's just a rumor. I figured we'd just touch on it. As usual, you've got the people on both sides making a bigger deal out of this, and I think it probably is. But rumor came out that on PS5 that it's not going to be fully forwards compatible, meaning that for first-party titles, that Sony's going to be really focusing on their titles being on the PS5 only, meaning if they release something, at the launch of PS5, it's not going to be also playable on the PS4, contrary to what Xbox is doing, where they've already confirmed, like Halo Infinite, for instance, you'll be able to play it on the Xbox One as well as Scarlet and Lockhart and everything else. So. For me personally, guys, I think this is if it's true, is a minor issue. But I think for the hardcore people like us, the people that listen to this show, the early adopters, we're all going to be buying PS5s anyway. So I don't know. This doesn't matter a lot to me personally. But I don't know if I'm thinking too shallow about that. I don't know if there's some people out there who are like, hey, I'm not going to be able to afford this $500 PS5, but I want to play X game.
Sure.
I don't know, but I don't know. I think this may be blowing things out of proportion already, as expected.
Yeah, totally agree with you. As long as they have backwards compatibility, that's really what I want to look for. I want my library to come with me.
No, they've confirmed that,
Right.
but they've only said to date PS4. I don't
That's
think
fine.
they're going to do prior gens on PS5, but we'll see. Because of PS Now, you have that option too.
I was late to that party anyway, so I'm glad anything that I have on the PS4 now, I'll be able to play on PS5, and that's what's most important. I understand why people could possibly be upset, but I also know what Twitter is like, so I'm super glad I wasn't there for it. It's just crazy to me that people get so upset about these kind of minor issues.
And they're not, right? It's
Right.
that fake outrage.
Oh yeah, but that brings in the clicks, and that's what it is. It's all
This
about
is
that.
why we didn't report on it.
That's awesome. We're talking about it now.
Yeah, we're talking about it now. But
No, but anyway, so I think this is a lot. If that is true, it probably comes down to the fact that it's just the OS that they've struggled with this gen, and bringing PS3 games even to PS4 to a certain extent. Microsoft is going to use the same Windows-based system, and it's just going to
they have greater resources, and
Right.
it's much easier from the way
sure.
they build it. Yeah.
right, just from a software standpoint. So, that's the only thing that I can see causing this. If it happens, and if it does, I mean, no big deal to me. So, cool beans, man.
Yeah, so I am beyond confused on this complaint or fanboy outrage, because I can't think of any other generation where the first party big games that people were looking for on the new console were playable on the previous console right at the same time that they launched. I've seen it the other way, where you have a game that was designed for, let's say, PlayStation 3, and then it came out with nicer textures running smoother on PlayStation 4. But I've never seen it'd be kind of weird to say
GTA 5.
Exactly, yeah. There's tons of them, and I think this past generation was one that was notorious for a simple, crappy remaster that just had a slightly better texture.
We're going to see
or
it
something.
again, I promise you.
Yep. Yep, but I've never seen the opposite become an issue in previous generations. Like if you think of the 360 versus the Xbox, I never saw, Halo 4 or like that. How come I can't play that on my Xbox? I've never seen that become an issue. But I guess there's a reason to be upset about everything these days, which is super annoying to me. And I don't really have much else to say about it than shut up. I don't know. It's super weird.
You're right. It's definitely never been a thing before, and I think the only reason it's a thing now is because consoles have become more like PCs, where you think it's more of just a, you've got the more powerful version, but you could still at least play the game in some form. But to your point, I mean, this is not an expectation we've ever had, so I don't know.
I can't even imagine being like at a
Twitter.
Well, no. The only thing I was going to say, I can't imagine being a developer and being told from, the company that you're developing for, saying, we're working our ass off for, Last of Us 2. I need you guys to be able to make this a little crappier so it runs on a PlayStation 3. I mean, that's just the weirdest thing I've ever even heard of. But, it is what it is. I know that the PC architecture is a bit different to where you can simply just, change scaling a lot easier. But it's a weird way to think about it. And I don't know why people are making a thing of this. But I guess, like I said, people are going to make something out of nothing. Whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I see the counter there. I agree. It's weird. I agree with you. And then I see the counter, too. It's like they're already doing this. If if Ubisoft's making Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, which is supposedly coming next year, right? They're going to make that for low-level PCs, X1, PS4. Then they're going to make it for Scarlet and PS5. And then they're going to make it for literally your top end PC, $5,000 rig, where it's just different texture sizes and different what have you. So
but that's,
I'm not...
Yeah, but I was going to say that's a third party that develops intentionally for multiple platforms versus a first party that's
absolutely.
developing for...
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know.
To Dan's point, Microsoft has a lot more resources there in that vein than Sony does or Nintendo does. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But at least I don't think it matters.
Not to me.
No, not to me either. So we're going to move on.
The more you know.
All right. Game Awards coming this week. So the Game Awards are December 12th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And sorry for our friends over there in the UK if you want to watch this, but 1:30 a.m. on the 13th.
Jesus.
If you want to watch this live. Yeah, it's pretty bad for those guys.
At 1:30 in the morning?
1:30 in the morning on the overnight, the 13th. Yeah, because they do these live from Microsoft Theater in California.
Okay. That makes sense.
And so, I guess that they're not going to do it live at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even 5:30 in the afternoon is weird. But
well, probably because they want the Eastern time to be able to stay up. It's almost like football games.
I feel bad for the Jeff Keighley fans in the UK. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to stay up pretty late.
I don't feel bad for him if you're a Jeff Keighley fan. All right, guys. So what we did here is we took almost all the categories. We took all the categories except for the esports ones. I think there's an influencer one, and the strategy game one, because almost all of them are deep PC games that the three of us just don't play, and so we didn't really want to comment or make a prediction on them. But all the other categories, the three of us went through and we made a selection on what we think is going to win. Not what we want to win, but what we think is going to win. And we're going to revisit this next week to see who made the most correct selections. So we've already made our selections. That way this doesn't take an extreme amount of time because we already talked through these a little bit last week. But I'm just going to read through these quickly. So for action game, Dan, you're saying Apex Legends is going to win. I'm saying Gears 5 is going to win. Bert's saying Devil May Cry 5 is going to win. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to make any comments here.
That'd be my second choice. Would be by Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to say is this is who we think is going to win, not who we want to win. So
I just said that twice.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I just want to reiterate. That's all I'm saying, because some of the stuff that I will be voting for is stuff that I don't care as much for. So I just want to reiterate that. So
yeah, me too. In fact, this next category perfect sums it up. Yeah. So action adventure, you got me and Dan both think Death Stranding is going to win, and Bert thinks Resident Evil 2 is going to win.
Yep.
All right. So art direction. All three of us think that... Is it Grease or Gris?
It's Grease.
Grease. Okay. All three of us think that Grease is going to win for its unique art style.
Grease lightning. Grease lightning.
Yes.
Audio design. So Bert and I both think Modern Warfare is going to win.
That's
Dan is putting a
possibility.
check mark against Death Stranding.
Yep.
All right.
Audio design
Family
is so damn good in Modern Warfare. If it doesn't win, there's something up.
Yeah, and I know we'll get to it, right? But audio design's different from soundtrack.
Right.
So we'll see. Family game. All Nintendo categories because this is bullshit. But all three of us think that Smash Brothers is going to win. I honestly, looking at this, don't even see how it can't win this category. If it doesn't, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Super Mario Maker 2, maybe
Yeah,
there's a
that'd be-
slight
that'd be
chance,
the
but the
only
other
one.
ones, yeah, no way.
Yeah, that would be. We'll see. Fighting game. So again, all three of us think that Smash Brothers is going to win. I really want to select Mortal Kombat here because it's a fantastic game. I don't see how Smash loses this.
Nope.
Thinking maybe Samurai Showdown might come in the last minute, but you know,
The Stadia version only.
that's right.
All right, so fresh indie game, apparently, and I'm not making this up, presented by Subway.
Really?
I swear, that's why it's called the fresh indie game. I'm not joking.
No, no,
And this is a category specifically, not in all indie games, but the developer's very first game. So, Dan and Bert think that Disco Elysium is going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going with Outer Wilds. And the only reason I didn't pick Disco Elysium is because I don't think the audience for it has been big enough because it's PC only. But we'll see.
So, and here's my thought process on that one. Disco Elysium is getting a ton of press right now, and I think
Yep.
that some of the PC guys might say, we need to vote for this game, and they're going to vote for it. That's the only reason I said it on that one. But yeah, no,
Yeah, and apparently, so there's 90% of the way it works, because I heard this on a podcast the other day, 90% of the weighting for who wins is done by these outlets you spoke about, which
Yep.
is like 80 combined outlets, major outlets.
Yep.
Right.
Season Game is not one of them. I've got my complaint into Keeley. I expect to hear back from him any day now.
Yes. 2020.
God.
And then 10% is the fan vote. So you guys may be on track because Disco Elysium is rated really, really high by a lot of outlets. So I probably made a mistake here. So we're going to forget this one exists.
Yep. Delete.
Game direction. It pains me to say it, but I think I agree with Dan and Bert and the three of us. Death Stranding will probably win this one. The only other one I was thinking is Control, and you guys know better than me because you've played and beaten it. You think Control could make a case for this one?
I think Control is up there. As far as people talking about it, yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll see. Game for Impact. This is an interesting category. Dan and Bert think Grease is going to win this one, and I just chose Life is Strange 2 because I don't really have a really good reason. I just know that those games, a lot of people really enjoy those games and speak to how they've impacted them, so that's why I went with it, but we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Indie game. So this is not the developer's first game, but this is the best indie game of the year. Bert and Dan think Disco Elysium is going to win. Rightfully so, as we talked about previously. I chose Untitled Goose Game
I hope you're right.
just because that game made a huge splash. And it's on all platforms, too, or
Right.
coming to all platforms.
Katana Zero, I think, is super underrated, and I think it's going to go, it's going to pass a lot of people up this year. It's a really good game that if you have a Switch and $10 or wherever it is, pick it up, man, because
I'm
it
out.
is super good. 10 $10.
Katana Zero. Okay, what you want to give a
It's-
super brief
Yeah,
synopsis?
it's just basically it's like a little side-scrolling platformer, but if you die, it kind of rewinds the whole level.
Okay.
So you start over, and you have to keep doing it until you get to that point of where you pass it. So it's almost it's kind of like the
Sounds old school.
yeah, and it's kind of got that rogue like kind of play, but
Okay.
it's really really cool, and it's kind of it got some old school graphics and a kind of a neat little story too. So.
Okay, cool. All right, multiplayer game. So Dan and I think that Apex Legends is going to win here. Bert is on the Modern Warfare train. I could see that going either way. Honestly, I
Yep.
think just Apex landed with had such a big impact on the industry this year. That's why I picked that one.
I can see Tetris
Really,
pulling out something stupid here and winning this category.
I hope not. I like
really
it,
do too.
but I hope not.
No. Don't do it. Don't do
Oh,
it.
here's a good one. We picked three different ones on here. So narrative. I picked Outer Worlds, and that's could be a little biased that I pick. Disco Elysium, Dad is going with. You've picked Disco for a lot of things.
Because I played about 6-7 hours of it, and I totally get it right now. I can't give you like a full review or opinion of it, but I understand why people are praising it like they are.
Okay.
Just from that short of time.
Cool. And Bert is going with Death Stranding on narrative. I'm kind of sad that none of us chose Plague Tale after as much as we've talked about it.
And then now I would like that to win. That would be probably my choice.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with me in a Plague Tale. So Plague Tale to me is a fantastic game, and I think it should be nominated for a whole bunch of stuff. Now, do I think it's the game of the year? No, in almost all categories. But I think it's a fantastic game that people need to play that unfortunately I think a lot of people are going to miss this generation. Control, my problem with Control is that I thought the story was an utter mess. I love the gameplay. I love what you do and as you evolve as a character, but I'm not a big fan of the story. The story is kind of all over the place.
So it's funny you say that because I saw there's a long thread, I don't know if it was Reddit or somewhere I saw earlier, but a lot of people were saying that Quantum Break's story was way better than Control's.
It's a lot more straightforward. Control is like another deep thinking game, but it's a game that only a deep thinker would understand.
It's an artistic masterpiece that some people won't get.
Yeah.
We're talking about Control, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Plague Tale.
So
That's a Plague Tale. Yeah.
Plague Tale. Oh, rats. All right.
God,
You need to stop.
All right. Best ongoing game. Bert, you don't have a letter here, so I picked Destiny 2 because I think that for the Destiny community, the whole Shadowkeep thing, and I know that people really enjoyed it. It got rated highly, so I could see that winning. Dan picked what I would call the obvious pick here, which is Fortnite, because it just continues to chug along, and they do a great job at keeping that game relevant. Bert, you got one here?
Since I didn't vote, I'm going to penalize myself on this one. I'm going to throw Apex in there. But I think Fortnite's going to win. So I'm going to throw Wildcard in there.
I can see any of the top four there winning, like Apex, Destiny, Final Fantasy 14 as well. I can see that one winning. I don't know about Siege. Siege just it's like that one that just keeps kind of just chugging along.
Yeah.
And just stays, it doesn't not stay the same, but just stays relevant and does a really good job.
It's got a huge community.
Huge community.
Yep.
They do a really good job.
Next is performance. So this is voice acting. So you've got some interesting people here. Dan is going with Ashley Birch, who played Pavardi in Outer Worlds. I think that's a fantastic choice. I'm going with Laura Bailey, very well-known voice actress in video games who played Kate this year. I think this is one of the categories Gears actually wins. And then Bert is going with Mads Mikkelsen as Cliff from Death Stranding.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
this one for me.
Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Bert.
Nope.
Go ahead. God damn it!
Somebody speak.
All right, I'll go real quick. I chose this one based purely on like how I actually enjoy it. Like
I think
because
she could win. Everybody loved Pavardi.
I think everybody loved her. I think she was probably my favorite out of this list. But I really, really think she could win. But I think it would probably be between her and probably Laura Bailey for me, as far as like a performance goes.
I think Kate's was more impactful, or Laura, whatever you want to call it, than Pavardi's. That's the only
much more emotional.
Go ahead, Bert.
So for me, I think it's going to be between Laura and Mads solely because of what went into it. I mean, it was true acting experiences. Everything in Death Stranding was acted out on a stage. There was no, computer enhancements or anything that was done to faces or anything between both Laura and Mads. So, I mean, they had the complete face capture. They had, as people see the dots and the camera in front of them. All the movements were actually done by these characters. And if you've played Death Stranding, Cliff goes through some pretty tragic stuff. And as the story takes place, Mads just absolutely kills it for me. Whereas Laura, in my opinion, does quite a bit of that stuff as well, but not as impactful. It didn't impact me as much as it did with Mads. So both of them amazing performances, but in my opinion, Mads kills it in this one, and I've played the other games as well. The one that for me that shouldn't be on here is actually Norman Reedus as Sam. He was as stale as could be.
So I was going to ask you guys because I was listening to, I think it was Beyond, IGN's PlayStation podcast, and they have 4 people on there. I think 2 of them didn't like Death Stranding, 2 of them did. But they were talking about this, and even the guys who did like Death Stranding said Norman Reedus has no business being on this list.
Not at all. No, I mean, he's a very stale character. And honestly, the part of the narrative that is Death Stranding that is amazing to me has nothing to do with, I guess, Sam in general. I mean, he's an important... I think he's the... This is going to sound stupid, but the pencil that drives the written story.
There it is.
But he doesn't do any really acting in there, and he's very stale. But that is his character, so I get that he's doing that. But Norman Reedus in general is not known for his acting abilities. So
that's why when they first showed this game and they showed him, I'm like, really? Like you're promoting this through Norman Reedus?
Yeah. I think he suffered in that game from just poor character development. Which is, and I said that in my review. You know, as far as like, and the rest of the supporting cast was amazing.
Yep.
Bert, what was her name that played Mama in that?
Oh, Margaret Qualley. Margaret Qualley.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I mean, she did. I mean, and she doesn't have a very big part. You know, it's quality, not quantity, to me. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't like Norman Reedus, but you know, he's kind of just like he said, he's the pencil that kind of just gets it going. You know, he's like the vessel for the game, for the story.
Exactly.
But there's not a whole lot of development with him until very, very late in the game, and then at that point you're kind of like already invested in other things.
So what I'm hearing is the main protagonist in your game is poorly written and developed.
Well,
solid.
Yeah. The game is a sum of its parts. Yes,
he's a very tortured character and everything, but he's not. Sure. He's not the main point of the game in general.
And that's part of it too, right? Because so he's very quiet during most of the game because of his things that are going on. So I guess there is that growth, but it's just so like it happens so fast. It's just like, oh, this is really weird. Mads, again, I don't know. I mean, I liked him too. Let me talk to you one second about Matthew Porretta. I had to look him up, and I played Control. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
So this is the guy that's in like the cutscene videos that you see around the building, and he just kind of gives you like tutorials, or not even tutorials, just like, hey, this is what we're doing in this lab. And
exactly.
I'm like, oh, that guy, yeah. Why is he on there?
There had to be better people than you could have put on here.
I would have went with whoever did Amicia.
Oh yeah,
I mean, she was amazing. Even Hugo to it. I would have taken those over the last two in a second.
Max in Outer Worlds was awesome too.
Yeah,
the vicar. But
very good. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We touched on that one a lot. So cool.
I had more to say, but let's
go ahead.
Move on.
No, go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm gonna say it really quick. Courtney Hope is another one that was extremely stale to the point that I actually lost interest in the main character of Control. I was more excited about the powers that you gain as her, but never at any point in Control while I was playing it did I say Jesse is just this awesome character. Never at any point in the game. So very similar to Norman Reedus as Sam. More power to them. They did a great job, but there's nothing special about them or their performances.
What about, and I forget her name, and it won't be on this list because it missed, but in Jedi, what about the woman Jedi that you... on the ship, that kind of leads you through the story.
I would put her above both Norman and Courtney Hope, but
that's what I mean. It seems like they could have. Well, Jedi's didn't make the cut, but I mean, it seems like they could have picked some other people.
Yeah, she was in several other games. She was actually in Days Gone too. I think she did.
Another one that I would put in there is going to be Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I mean, she was fantastic in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So she does a lot of acting, and once again, it's all done with face and everything like that. However, the movement and the narrative is not the same, but I thought she did a great job.
So. A lot of strong feelings on performance.
Hey, no worries.
That's fantastic.
It's good. All right, Bert, I don't see your initial here either, but best RPG of the year. So we've got Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy XIV, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster World, Iceborne, Outer Worlds. All three of us going with Outer Worlds. I love it. I hope it wins.
I do too.
If Kingdom Hearts 3 wins, I'm going to burn the motherfucker down. Excuse the language. No, I'm kidding. I hope Outer Worlds wins. This is both a think and hope choice here.
I think me too.
Massive fan following on that one.
Kind of doing it. But Iceborne seems more like a really, really big DLC.
It's an expansion. That's kind of weird.
But it's one of those things where I think Outer Worlds may have reached a bigger audience. So I'm just going to go with that based on that. But I know it's only 10% again, but it's still.
That's what I did with the Disco Elysium stuff,
Yeah.
though. Like, I've heard how great it is, but it hasn't hit everyone yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Score and music. So, Dan is going with Sayonara Wild Hearts. Bert and I are going with Death Stranding. And the only reason I'm going with Death Stranding is because you guys talked me into it last week. So,
It's really
I'm just taking a stab at it here.
I think either one of these can win. And we talked about this kind of before the podcast. I'm a big fan of those interjecting music at critical points in the game that give that scene or that moment more realism and more meaning and more impact. So Death Stranding does that a lot.
So Red Dead should win?
Red Dead, I can't remember the song. I wish I did. When you escape the prison, spoilers. I don't care. It's been out for a year, and you're riding back to
It's called
Saint Denis or whatever, and there was a song that played, and it was amazing. And it was like one of those moments in the games where you're like, perfect. It's a perfect use of just timing with the perfect music for it. And never heard of it. Death Stranding kind of does that. For me, it did. Several different
Unshaken.
times. Unshaken, yep.
Shot me nuts.
Yep. And so it does that, for me it did anyway, for like several different points of the game. And it was weird because it doesn't do it like where it like kind of hits you over the head like Red Dead did. It's very, very subtle.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that kind of time. Now, the only reason I went with Sayonara Wild Hearts is because that's the basis of that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big part of, a huge part of the game. And while I didn't really dig the music so much, I think they did a really, really good job with it and how they implemented it.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Sports and racing game, and I probably threw this one away. But both Dan and Bert chose FIFA 20, which is probably the obvious choice because it's like the biggest game in the world.
Obvious.
And, I was kind of there, and then I was like, well, I'm going to go on ratings. And I know Dirt Rally 2.0 got rated really highly by a lot of places, so I just threw it towards Dirt Rally. But we'll see what happens here.
One thing I'll say that Crash Team Racing doesn't belong in this category at all. I think the show 19 should have been on here because I'm playing that now and it's fantastic. But I think there's just too many voters that are going to be going for FIFA around the world. So that's just.
That 10% is going to overload it for FIFA. Virtual reality or AR game. Dan and Bert are both going with Beat Saber, which is, I think, probably a really good choice here, given especially that it's on multiple platforms, right? Mm-hmm. I'm saying No Man's Sky. I think everything we heard about the virtual reality addition to No Man's Sky has been fantastic. I sadly haven't gotten to it. I want to. But anyway, that's where I'm throwing my vote in.
I played a little bit of it, and it's really, really well implemented. I think Beat Saber kind of came out of nowhere, in a market that was kind of void of those, music games, where you like get with that Guitar Hero Rock Band left.
Yeah.
It kind of came in and was just like, hey, check this stuff out.
The only thing that confused me here, and you guys can correct me, I'm going to look it up. I thought Beat Saber came out last year.
Maybe it did. No idea. Maybe it was beta or something.
I don't know because I think
highly
did,
rated. It came out in May of 2018.
So
That's really strange. Yeah, I wonder what the catch is there.
I don't know. That was an Oculus, right? So maybe it came out on PSVR this year.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a weird one to have.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of, like I said, Blood and Truth too. I think there's, like we said, there's a lot of potential with that game, and that kind of doing it that way.
Yeah. Asgard's Wrath. That podcast I was listening to was talking about that. They said it's an Oculus exclusive because it's developed by their development team, but it's supposed to be fantastic. So, never heard of it until this. All right, guys, the big one. Game of the year. So you guys are both going for Death Stranding, huh? You think it's going to take it? Even though, so the only reason I didn't pick it is because what we talked about. 90% of this vote is outlets, and it's not rated that high. Like IGN gave it a 6 point something, Polygon gave it a 7, right. Game Informer gave it a 7.
If you go and look at the 80 that actually did it, though, somebody actually went back and did went back and looked at what those outlets that are voting for it. It's a lot higher than what the actual Metacritic is. Not a lot higher, but it's a little bit higher. And I think there's a lot of things going into that pick. It's not that
If it does win, people are going to
probably go crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna be
I think it's going to win. I think it's deserving for sure. And not saying that the rest of the games are bad, because I could see Outer Worlds again for me would probably be up there too. Control 2 maybe not quite there. And we talked about it last week about Plague Tale and
Jedi, which Jedi didn't make the cut,
which is super weird to me. But yeah, I think Death Stranding will probably pull this off. But your pick of Resident Evil 2 would probably be my second.
The only reason I picked it is because, again, if you look at the ratings, RE2 is one of the highest this year, for better or for worse, no matter what you think about remakes. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the weird thing about that, too, is, like, Devil May Cry 5 is, like, one of the highest in ratings, too, and it wasn't even nominated. That's true, too. So, I don't know. The weird thing, if you were to take out those bomb reviews, because there's no way some of those games are rated as low. Let me start that sentence over. There is no way that the reviewers that rated the game as low as it is should even be legitimized at this point. Those were bomb reviews.
What game?
So, Death Stranding.
I think for any game.
Yeah, but it's the reverse, too. There's a whole... If you look at it, there's like 10 PS-only sites that gave it 10s.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like... It wouldn't even be as high as it was without those.
Yeah, to an extent, but I do think the game is deserving of a 9.5 to a 9.0 or a 10. When you drop it all the way down to a 3, right, but when you drop it to a 3, there's no way that you can look at this game and say that it's a 3 in any way whatsoever. I do see legitimate 9s and 10s somewhere. But no, I do see the opposite effect. I do think that the game should sit somewhere in the mid to high 80s as an overall. But I think that those 2s, 3s, 4s have bombed the reviews so low that the Metacritic is affected by it. So, I don't know.
Just came out this... yesterday or the day before?
Player reviews.
Player reviews. Yeah, they took down a bunch of them.
They do that all the time, though.
Yeah, I've seen it on Steam. I've never seen it on Metacritic.
No, they do that all the time. It's just a big deal because it's Death Stranding.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh. Well. I mean, just don't even allow it. Like nobody cares about people's opinions. Maybe they do.
It's a way to get hits on the site.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Bert. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I mean, another game that I've been seeing, so I've on YouTube, just in general, a lot of the outlets are starting to release their Game of the Year actual wins or whatever. I've seen Sekiro gaining some steam too, which is kind of interesting.
It's rated really high.
Yeah.
I reviewed that for us. I gave it an 8. I was not as impressed with it as games like Bloodborne or Souls 3. I think it took a step backwards. But the thing that's funny that I'm seeing in the reviews is people are saying it's like a complete rehash and it's a refresh to the series. And to your point in your review, you said there's not a lot new. It's just been renamed, but it's just the same stuff. So I don't know. The combat was noteworthy. Challenging for sure, but the combat was noteworthy. But I mean, other than that, I don't know. Maybe I'm the wet poncho on this one.
Yeah.
Wet poncho,
or wet whatever the Japanese reference would be.
I don't even want to get into it.
All right. So anyway, that is our picks. I'll tally those up, and then we'll revisit it at the start of next week Bitcast just for a laugh, and we'll see who won or who was most accurate.
Why don't we just do the normal $10 to your extra lecture?
I'm certainly down. I'm at like $840. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by year end. So.
Yeah, if I'm not number one, I'll throw you $10.
Cool.
There you go.
And if I lose, I'll throw myself $10.
Yes. There you go. Bert, are you in for $10? Do it.
Hell no. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course I am. Yeah.
All right. So the second and third place both pay, or just the loser?
Second and third place.
Second and third. Oh, so I got $20 extra life. Sweet. Yeah. No matter what.
Regardless.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. So, like I said, we'll revisit that next week, and that's really all we had for this week. Other than, of course, we got to move to our favorite thing to talk about: name that game. And Bert has said that he is ready to kill us this week. So Dan and I are a little nervous, but we'll see how it goes. You go ahead and go first this week because I went first. I don't know when, last week or the week before.
Yeah, I'm not going to be as ridiculous as you guys have gotten recently, so I'll be. I think you should know this one.
You got mine on question 4 last week.
No, but the one before that was like some game no one ever even heard of.
Doritos Crash Course? I can't help it that you didn't play a free game, which surprises the hell out of me, because I know how damn cheap you are. You think you had that damn game on 15 different consoles. Oh my gosh. All right, bring it on, Medios.
Okay, here we go. This game released on the PlayStation 2 in Japan in 2002 and in North America in 2003.
All right. That's how we started off, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right. 2002 to Final Fantasy 8.
No,
Super.
negative,
It was
wrong.
PS1.
Yeah, I know.
Onimusha 2.
Negative. Great game though. Great game.
Hilarious.
Great game.
Yeah, I love the Onimushas. I hope they bring that back, right? That was the...
Well, they have the fancy remaster if you want.
Okay, the next clue in this awesome name that game. There is 4 games. 4 games in the series. It's dead. The game you are naming is the 4th in the series. However, it is part 3 in the name. So there is a clue. It's part 3. But there is 4 games in the series.
So there's probably like a 0 or like a prequel. Or
No. What I'm worried about here is I think Ains might know about the history of this game and might guess it sooner than later.
I got nothing right now. I probably do, but...
do it, man. Just hit him.
And I'm going to repeat that clue.
I probably
gonna-
know it once he says it, but it's
I'm going to repeat that clue just because it might have been a little confusing. So the game you're guessing is the 3rd in the series as far as the name goes, but is actually 4th as far as releases go.
Only on the PS2. Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
Was this game or series exclusive to the PS2, or did it land on other platforms?
The actual game you're guessing was exclusive to the PlayStation.
Okay.
The series itself has found itself around PC and PlayStation and I think even like other stuff like that. But the game you're guessing was only on PlayStation 2.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's go with Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Negative. Negative.
3.
Dan?
All right. I think of a Japanese game, but it's also an American game.
That's good.
Is it a? It's my question. Is it an RPG?
No, it is not.
Crap. I feel like I wasted a question. 3. Ghouls and Ghosts 3.
No. No,
I do
it
have
is
a
not.
guess, but I do have a guess.
Go for it. Good.
Oh,
Well,
you're next.
Oh.
Yeah, we got the
Yeah.
third question. And
Oh,
Third question on the way.
third hit.
Okay. In this game, or I should say in the franchise, the previous titles were point and click. This game, you actually have direct control of the character.
Nope, my guess sucks. Oof.
Point and click.
Yeah, kind of like your mists and stuff like that. Those are all point and click. This one, you had direct control.
Oh boy.
No doubt. I'm probably overthinking this. Myst 3.
No.
PC.
There
There is no
Negative.
mystery.
there is no Myst 3.
It's
Number
Myst
1.
1
Number
and
2. I'm just gonna say 3 at the end of everything.
Altered Beast.
Yes.
So my original guess, I'm just going to throw out there because I don't have another one, was going to be Twisted Metal Black.
No, because there actually was a Twisted Metal 3, I think.
Yeah, I know there was 1 and 2. I thought there was 4 games. That's why I was kind of going there. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right,
Nope.
next clue.
Good guess, though. All right. The original developer for this franchise was called Human Entertainment. They went out of business, and the development for this title that you're guessing is Sunsoft and Capcom.
Sunsoft. Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Capcom. Why does
Human,
that sound
Human,
familiar?
whatever. I've never heard of. But Sunsoft sounds familiar. Capcom. Okay. Devil May Cry the 30er.
No. Negative. That is incorrect. Dan?
Good guess though.
Good guess.
Actually, I had something in my head. Now it's gone. That was Konami. Capcom. Man, I got nothing. Mega Man 3. So probably
No. Mega Man 3, I think, was on the NES.
Yes, it was.
Okay, the game we're talking about, you're guessing, was seen as a commercial failure. However, in recent years, and even, I should say, even recent decades, it has seen a massive cult following.
Awesome.
But it's only on the PS2.
Only on the PS2.
This game is.
Oh.
And it's been on PC.
What?
It was on. He said it was on. The other ones were on PC.
Yeah, the previous ones.
Previous one.
So part
This
one,
one
part
was not
two.
on the PC.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Cult following, Capcom.
Point and click.
That's good, man. But not point and click, because this one isn't. Resident Evil Tactics 3.
No, negative.
Okay. I don't even know. That's not even a thing. Just throwing crap out there now.
Prince of Persia.
No, that's a fun game though. I wish they would actually bring that one back. Okay, this game was very mixed reviews. It was known to have horrible control, but had amazing direction, writing, and graphics, and the cutscenes were especially very. People loved them. You might have. This
Metal
game
Gear
is probably
Solid 3.
no. That game was good. That game was
You
fantastic.
said cutscenes, so I immediately went Kojima.
Yeah. No, we got to remember back during the PlayStation 2, that cutscenes were like everything back then. So
Yeah, that was a big thing because of the DVD storage they had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so this game is notoriously known for having horrible control. That's should be maybe a clue, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I played a lot of games with horrible controls. It's just nothing's coming to my head.
Yeah, I'm struggling here.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Xenogears 2.
No, it's a good game
Couldn't
though.
it be 3?
Well, no, because I'm just making shit up in my head now.
All right,
There's
the
a
next
prequel
clue.
And also a 0.
Oh, gosh.
There wasn't.
Next clue. The main character's name that you control is Alyssa Hamilton. She is armed with a crossbow.
Gosh. Yeah, I guess that's it. What question are we on?
5, I think.
Let me actually give you that. 1, 2, 3,
I know it's
4,
point
5,
click.
6. We're on question 7 at the moment.
7.
Damn, we suck.
I'm struggling.
3.
And what did you say? Sorry?
Thief.
No,
3.
it is not.
4. 7.
Click. Real-time control.
Ashley Hamilton.
The crossbow.
There's not a lot of crossbow women
No.
out there.
Protagonist with a crossbow as a main weapon, and a title with bad controls that used to be point and click.
Yes.
Have we played this game for real?
I hope so.
No clue. None whatsoever.
Um,
But he hasn't played Crash Course, so I can't really, say much.
That came out later, I think.
You guys have at least heard of this game. I never heard of Doritos Crash Course. So
Yes, but
Yeah.
you were proven pretty badly to be in the minority there.
Yes, you're the only one.
How about Oddworld Azura's Wrath?
no, that is incorrect. Okay. In the game, the majority of the game you're spent exploring. However, the enemies that you find are known as subordinates, and you can either stun or run from them.
Oh, I know it. No, I don't. I'm just joking. I have no clue.
I have nothing. I don't think I've played this game. I really don't.
If I have blanked it from my memory. It's
Um,
gone.
I'm trying to even think of a question to ask.
I know, that's what I was
I
thinking.
don't even have a question.
It's almost like it's not an RPG. It's point and click, right? So I'm guessing it's probably an FPS, but I don't know if that's true or not. So maybe I'll use my question. Is it an FPS, Bert?
It is not.
Okay,
It is
see?
not.
Way off. So
It's not first person, so it's third person.
Right?
Yes.
Or it's possibly a side-scrolling, but how the hell do you do a side-scrolling point and click?
PS2, it would be third person or 3D.
The next clue I read out, I will add to that, unless you guys have a question. So
I really have nothing here. I'm gonna go with since it was PS2 exclusive, I'll say Halo 3.
okay, Dan. Okay. This is question 9, by the way. This next question or clue.
First guess is
I guess first. So is it my turn now to guess?
we're all
Yep.
over the place.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta guess something.
Sure
Okay.
is.
Say that last clue again. That matters.
Oh, so in the game, you spend most of the time exploring. However, you do come across enemies, and they are called subordinates, and you can only stun or run from them.
This game sounds terrible. I don't know, man. Horizon Zero.
Horizon Zero 3.
Yeah, 3.
No.
Horizon Zero Midnight.
Yeah.
Alright.
Horizon Zero Dusk. Go for it, man. Hit me.
Okay.
This is question 9.
Question 9. This third-person survival horror game from Capcom is also one of the most requested remaster or
Oh, for
rebooted
fuck's sake.
series from Capcom. So people have been asking for this one after RE2 came out.
It's gotta be like Silent Hill 3, right? Or
The weird thing though,
PT?
even Silent Hill 1 wasn't point and click.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'll give you another clue on top of that. It's not Silent Hill.
I knew that. Although that does help a little bit. So now I'm in horror mindset. I got to think about this.
Guess we should have went there.
Yeah. All right. It's your guess, isn't it? Because you go first.
Oh. Fuck, I don't know. That's the only one I can think of. So, point and click. Horror by Capcom. I don't know, man. PT.
PT. No, that is negative.
See someone recreated PT in Dreams,
Yeah.
like 1-to-1.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Did hear about that.
This is not my genre.
It typically is, but I'm still struggling with the point and click and the whole crossbow thingamajiggy.
And I'm not even sure if the final clue is going to help you, so we'll see how this goes.
No, I don't think we're getting this one. I got nothing again. Alone in the Dark.
Sexy.
Alone in the Dark. No, you're getting pretty warm, though. I will tell you that. That's another clue.
Getting warm, man.
All right, go for it.
Okay, final clue. In this game,
We die.
it's mostly compared to Eternal Darkness. You do have what's called a panic mode, and this is similar to Eternal Darkness when the character gets too scared or something, some crazy stuff happens. And in this game, same thing. The only way that she can come out of panic mode is by using holy water.
Get it. Please get it.
I got nothing. I really don't. I don't think I can almost guarantee I've never played this game.
Okay. Dan?
Yeah, I've got nothing. It sucks.
Uh,
Amnesia
nice.
3.
No. Isn't that a PC-only game or something like that?
Fatal Frame 3.
Yeah.
No. Fatal Frame was good, though.
Um,
Dan,
so
coming out with the final
Horizon-
guess.
I don't even know horror games, so I mean that's the biggest issue. Is
Throw
that-
out an intelligent guess. Intelligent guess. You got
Have I
this.
done that yet today? No. I mean, PT was my most intelligent guess. It was a terrible guess.
PT was your. All right.
Fear?
Yeah, that was a FPS, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
D3.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know.
All right, guys. The game is Clock Tower 3. Clock Tower 3.
All right, new poll, Twitter. Have you heard of Clock Tower 3
I actually,
Medios?
I actually have heard of
it.
Clock Tower. I
Never
will say. I
have
never
heard
played
of
it, though.
So Clock Tower 3 was, I'm going to send you guys the box art because I'm sure you'll go, oh my god, that game. But it was fairly big fan base for it now.
Look at it.
But like I said, it's I actually like this game. It was just kind of not controllable. Back then, PlayStation 2 had some very weird controlled games, so I think that was almost expected back then. But there you go. There's your name that game this week. I was able to stump
I've
him.
never seen this in my entire life.
Yeah, I'm aware of Clock Tower, but goddamn, that was a tough one.
That was tough.
All right.
He did it again.
He did.
Gotcha.
Medios does.
Got him.
They got Medios towered.
Yeah, he got
DVD.
Medios Tower.
Is that what this says here?
Oh yeah, PS2 always put DVD because they were promoting that you could use it as a DVD player, so they kept doing that.
So that's,
Anyway.
that's Ashley Hamilton, huh?
All right, well, you got us. That was fun. I'll put that out there. Anyway, let's go ahead and close this episode 84 out here.
Yes.
So if you are playing Modern Warfare, you know that Season 1 just dropped. Bert put up a multiplayer review and kind of capped off our Modern Warfare coverage in that vein. That's on the site if you want to check it out. And then right now we're working out as the three of us are kind of working out what the plans are over the next couple weeks. Obviously with the holidays coming, there's travel, there's families in town and other things. So we'll be working that out and discussing that here. Probably next week's Bitcast will give you an idea of what to expect in terms of schedule. But we'll have some other things coming in the next few weeks as well. So anything else to add, guys?
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody. Even though I'll see you next week. And I can wish it to you again.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. Appreciate it. Have a good week.